Hi, everyone. So, I have a song for you to listen to on the top of the episode. This song is by Leonard Maxwell, and the song is called She Walks in Beauty. I did get the song from the Podsafe Music Directory, which is a part of the World Podcast and Network. So, I'm going to play that song for you soon. If you do like the song, you can go down to the show notes where there is a link for you to listen to and download the song. Again, the link is part of the Podsafe Music Directory, which is, again, a part of the World Podcast Network. So without further ado, I'm going to play that song for you now.
She walks in beauty like the night of cloudless climes and starry skies, and all that's best of dark and bright meets in her aspect and her eyes, thus mellowed to that tender light which heaven to gaudy day denies. One shade the more, one ray the less, had half impaired the nameless grace which waves in every raven trace, or softly lightens o'er her face, where thoughts serenely sweet express how pure, how dear their dwelling place. And on that cheek, and o'er that brow so soft, so calm yet eloquent, the smiles that win, the tints that glow, but tell of days in goodness spent, a mind at peace with all below, a heart whose love is innocent. She walks in beauty like the night of cloudless climes and starry skies, and all that's best of dark and bright meets in her aspect and her eyes, thus mellowed to that tender light which heaven to gaudy day denies. One shade the more, one ray the less, had half impaired the nameless grace which waves in every raven trace, or softly lightens o'er her face, where thoughts serenely sweet express how pure, how dear their dwelling place. And on that cheek, and o'er that brow so soft, so calm yet eloquent, the smiles that win, the tints that glow, but tell of days in goodness spent, a mind at peace with all below, a heart whose love is innocent.
Welcome to Reality Tea Times 2, the podcast where we discuss all the trash reality TV we love to hate. I'm Tanika, and today we're going to be doing the sixth episode of Diaries. So before we head into that, I will have some hot goss here. I have not read the article before, so we'll see kind of this journey with everybody. It's just the one, but I will have some hot goss in this episode. So before we get into that, though, Patreon is going strong. Well, I'm going strong. Anyways, we have three tiers that is happening on Patreon. So the first tier, everything again, Canadian dollars. The $3 tier is the first tier, and there you get these episodes ad free as well as AMAs every month. So that's what's happening there on that tier. And then on the second tier, which again, the first tier, I'm hoping to also do more on that tier, but I have to wait for some membership to come. So we'll talk about that then when that happens. The second tier is where we'll have everything with the first tier as well as coverage of a show from yesteryear. And this right now we're covering Jersey Shore. I believe we're heading now into season 3. You can also look out for the bonus episode, which I believe has already been released, with the coverage of the first episode of Jersey Shore, season 3. So you can look out for that. And then if you like what you hear, you can head over to Jersey Shore, to Patreon, where you can get the rest of that tier. And then on the third tier, we get everything with the two tiers. That's $7 a month. And there you also get a true crime, a documentary. We do 2 episodes a month, 1 doc a month. And that's what we're doing. So again, the um first episode usually is released on the main feed. So you can take a listen to that. If you like it, you can head over to Patreon and join to get the rest of it. So we've covered um, the Ashkenaz and documentary, Band of Thousand Years documentary, um, Into the Fire, and this month we're doing the Lacey Pearson documentary. So go over there if you're interested in being a part of that. The link is in the show notes, but that is again at patreon.com/reality tea times 2. Okay, so let's head into the hot goss. Okay, so this has to do, we've kind of talked about this a few times on this podcast. About Clayton from Bachelor Universe and the fact that he had a woman who was faking a pregnancy. So now it seems the most recent thing here is that she is now facing charges for allegedly using a fake ultrasound image to lie about Clayton Eckhart, who was a star of The Bachelor season 26, and getting her pregnant in order to file a paternity lawsuit requesting child support. So her name is Laura Michelle Owens, who is 34, has been indicted on 7 felony charges, including 1 count of fraudulent schemes and artifices, 1 count of forgery, 4 counts of perjury, and 1 count of tampering with physical evidence, according to a statement from the Maricopa County Attorney's Office. The Maricopa County Attorney's Office began its investigation into Owens in July of last year on the request of a Superior Court judge following proceedings in a paternity case. Owens had originally filed a lawsuit, as we kind of know this, but I'll just do the background again. Filed a lawsuit against Eckhart seeking child support, but made several inconsistent statements during a hearing. Prosecutor said Owens, daughter of radio personality Ron Owens, later dropped her lawsuit claiming she had a miscarriage. Sure, Jan. Investigators learned that between May 2023 and June 2024, Owens allegedly altered an ultrasound image and fabricated a pregnancy video. She then allegedly lied multiple times while under oath during hearings in the paternity case. This nightmare is over, Clayton said in a video statement posted probably recently. I'm so ready to not have to think about this anymore. I want to say thank you to Maricopa County Attorney Rachel Mitchell and the investigators for serving up justice. I want to thank my lawyers. They've been incredible standing by my side. During Clayton's season, which aired back in 2022, so in case anyone did not watch this season, he pulled a surprising switch at the end. After selecting flight instructor Rachel Riccia and nurse Gabby Winty for the final, he changed his mind at the last minute. to pursue dismissed contestant Susie Evans. They dated until breaking up in the fall of 2022. This is just such a weight lifted off. We are so thankful and thank you all for your support. I have not been this happy. This is a weight of 2 years lifted off my shoulders. Well, listen, Clayton sucked in his season. And Clayton was a person that I think a lot of people liked from Michelle's season. I think he was on Michelle's season. And we really liked him. I really liked him. I thought he was great. And then they get their own season and then they suck. And that's what happened here with him. But no one deserves this. No one deserves this kind of nonsense. Women, we need to do better. We ask for better, but then we have women like this who set us back. Enough. Like, cut your shit. Really. Um, anyways, that is that piece of hot gossip. That's the update there. Let's head into the reason that we're here, and that is to do episode 6 of Diaries. So we're with Colt. Colty. We're gonna have a little more of him in another episode, but he's living in Utah, with his uncle, and he's out talking about to his uncle about calling Debbie, maybe going and seeing Debbie. He has not seen Debbie for 2 years since the tell-all. He hasn't seen her. They have spoken, but he hasn't actually physically seen her. And I'm sure part of that is also because of the injuries he sustained. I'm sure that's part of the reason. But it's actually really interesting to me that Debbie never once thought, let me go see my son after he had this trampoline accident and he was really not doing well. Um, it's just really interesting. Like, I'm not saying that she should or shouldn't have or whatever, but I find that really interesting that it's been 2 years. We haven't seen each other. Just insane. Anyways, he's coming to Canada, y'all. Yay. Okay. That's basically Colt. For now, we'll talk more about him later. Then we are with Ashley and Manuel. She looks incredible, y'all. She's lost 126 pounds. Congrats to Ashley. And she says, yeah, I'm just staying around here waiting for Manuel to get home from work. Sir has a job now. Yes, Manuel. He's doing the damn thing. And oh my God, y'all, when they show him, the man said hi. And I was like, oh, he's speaking English. Just simple, just hi. I'm like, oh my God. And but then he speaks more English, y'all. He's like, hi, I'm Manuel. I'm 37. And he says he's from Ecuador. I'm like, oh my God, my man is speaking English. I am so proud of him. I'm so proud of him. She still speaks Spanish to him though, but he he's actually making efforts. He still has a ways to go, but he's making efforts, and that's incredible. Oh, okay. I'm so proud of him. Anyway, he's cooking and he has like a lime that he's cooking with. And he says lime on. And she's like, lime. Lime on? Lime. Lime. See, I understand how he would get that confused and say lime on because lemon's a lemon, not a lem. And lime, you would think of the same family. It looks the same besides it's green. You would think it's lime on. I think he's on the right track. But I also wonder, I think lime on is also, I'm probably incorrect with this, but I wonder if lime on's also Spanish for lime. So he's saying lime on, but I understand. I totally get it. Anyways, eventually he does say lime. So they're going to be heading to Ecuador. He hasn't been to Ecuador for, I think it's been a couple years. So they're heading to Ecuador for him to see his kids and to meet the kids. And I'm so happy. Yay. So the next scene, we're getting to the meat here of this. This woman is at the gym with her sister Cece, and she's she's on this treadmill and heels. She's saying that she has to kind of get used to being in the heels this way if she wants to be part of the bodybuilding competition or whatever it was, which as we know she did do. Almost like it feels like it's been almost a year now since she did, or over a year now that she did that. But anyways, she yeah, so she's, you know, preparing for that. But it's real weird to see a woman on a treadmill with heels like that. Anyway, she tells Cece, so he wants to go home. Just he wants to stay for 6 weeks. I was thinking, now I could stay for like 3 weeks, right? And then I could go to Tulum where they're going to be doing a spiritual retreat. Oh my God. And she's like, Cece's like by yourself? And she's like, yeah, by myself. I don't want him to come. I don't want him to mess up my zen. She's like, I want to work on my shadow selves. This is, I miss them so much. Seriously. Anyways, she's like, okay, well, I don't think Manuel's gonna really go for it. And I totally agree. I agree with what he's gonna say when she brings it up. Anyway, we see Manuel and later on driving. He's driving. Not very well, but nonetheless driving. I don't think she's a good driver either because didn't she get hooked at as well at one point in their first season? Anyways, um, they go mini golfing, they're dating, they're on a date. And she's gonna tell him while on this date that she wants to leave early, to go to Tulum for her spiritual retreat where she can work on her shadow self. And he's like, so wait. Let me get this straight. You complain to me when I don't introduce you to my kids, and then I introduce them to my kids. You complain to me that you don't know my kids. So now we're traveling to Ecuador so you can know my kids. And then you want to leave early so you can go deal with your shadow self. No, straight up no. It's like, no, you're not coming and leaving early. You're not. You're staying. Mic drop. I agree. You're going to have to work on your shadow self another day, but not during, this trip to Ecuador, which is really important for him. You're not doing that. I agree with him. Anyway, she's like, well, that didn't go as planned, you think? Anyways, that's it for Ashley and Manuel. I hope we see them again. Hopefully we see them going to Ecuador. I'm here for it. So now we're with Fernanda. We're with Fernanda. Nothing here to talk about, y'all. I really didn't care about any of this. As we know, she's not with that German guy anymore. He actually moved to Germany. He moved back home. So yeah, they're definitely together. She is having some modeling problems. She actually moved to New York to pursue modeling. She's struggling. And when she's with her agent or whoever this was and doing her catwalk or yeah, do we still call it a catwalk? Runway walk, runway walk. We're doing a runway walk. Y'all, she isn't good. She isn't good. Listen, I've watched enough of America's Next Top Model back in my day where I'm like, I know this isn't good. This is not a good walk. Miss J would be livid, okay? Miss J is going to need to work with this one, okay? She is not a runway model. She's not. And that's okay. Everyone has their specialty when it comes to modeling. But then New York is maybe not the place for you. It's probably just not the place for you. It's a completely different modeling scene. But she's gonna stick it out and try to make it work, and all the power to her. She is bi-coastal. She is doing New York and Miami still, so that she can still make money. So she's still doing that there, and she's very photogenic. She's a great model when it comes to taking photos and stuff like that. Not good when it comes to the rock, though. Not good. Anyways, that's it for Fernanda. Not much there to talk about. Oh God, sweet Jesus. And then we move on to Rob. Again, there's nothing here I really want to talk about because I don't care. I hate the fact that I'm gonna need to talk about this asshole during Hunt for Love. I really don't like the title. But Hunt for Love, it's really sucky that I'm gonna have to talk about him. But here we are. So he's getting a haircut. We know this. We've seen the haircut already. And he is going to Vegas with Josh. Okay, so Josh has invited everybody to Vegas except for Natalie. This is incredible. And we know they went to Vegas. We know they went to Vegas because if anyone's seen these stupid videos, we know one was done in Vegas. So, anyways, um, he's gonna be there, yeah, with Jamal too. And I think that one had Benny in it. I think that's the one that Benny was in. Anyways, we know where this is headed with them going to Vegas, as I just talked about. So he says to Josh while they're working out, Sophie keeps texting me and it sucks because it delays me having to heal and stuff like that. So I am curious. Well, this would have probably been before the tell all because at the tell all his hair was cut. So this was probably before the tell all. But I do wonder if it was before they were filming um, in between the sheets, where we know they end up having sex. Hmm, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I do think that's the timeline here. That he is gonna fall and have sex with her. Huh. Anyways, I'm just putting it out there. I want to put the timeline out there. But because my question was like, okay, so then if you are done with her, then why not just block her? Be done with it. You have no reason to continue talking to her. You can talk through your lawyers. You can, you know, do all of that. You don't need to talk to her if you don't want to. You're choosing to talk to her unless you're not done. I'm just saying. Anyways, that's it for Rob. Who cares? We're gonna have Sophie later on too. Ugh. Anyways, let's move on to Ben and Akinyi, y'all. Now, if you don't know who Ben and Akinyi are, you're new to this journey. Ben is the one that had to go to Kenya, where Akinyi is from, and had to bright price. That is Ben. That is Akinyi. And they didn't they technically get married. They did get married in her with it like her culture, I believe, in Kenya. And then when she came to the States, they got officially married, legally married anyways. When she was here. So anyways, she's pregnant, y'all. If you don't again know their storyline, they were trying to get pregnant and struggling to do so. Um, and I don't know if there was any pregnancy loss involved with her. I can't remember that, but they were struggling nonetheless to get pregnant. And now she's pregnant. And she attributes her pregnancy, whether or not this is true or not, I don't know. She read that using a decongestant, so I'm thinking like allergy medicine, or maybe even like cold medicine, maybe even cold medicine to get pregnant. Because then it would clear up like the mucus, ugh, in your vagina. What mucus? What mucus? What mucus in the vagina do we need to clear up? I'm confused. Is it like vagina mucus, if you want to call it that, kind of important for pregnancy because it will help the movement of the sperm to where it needs to be? I'm so confused. I think it's just coincidence. I don't think this is what got her pregnant. But they say a week later she got pregnant. I don't think that's how it works. I don't. I think she just happened to do the pregnancy test a week later and she was pregnant. You don't you don't get okay, you don't get pregnant in a week. You get pregnant in I mean, I guess technically you can get pregnant in a week, but you wouldn't do a test in a week. Like I'm trying to understand here the timeline of trying. So when she did the decongestant medicine to when she did the test. I'm trying to I'm trying to figure this out. Anyways, she says that she wants a car for her push present. See, I'm all about doing a push present. Um, that's something I'm gonna log in my mind, but a car? He's not like a rich man. He struggled to do the bride price, and you're gonna expect him to buy you a car? Let's not forget, y'all, too. He does have a child from a previous relationship. So he has to support that child, keep the roof over their head. Now he's gonna have to support another child, and he's buy you a whole ass car. More on that in a second, too. She looks at this SUV that is kind of brand new to the place, and she does like it. And it's $46,500. And he's like, "Oh, that's a lot of money. I was kind of thinking somewhere in the $20,000 range." So it's a no for him. But y'all, here's the kicker. So we're out here buying her a car for a first present. My girl doesn't even have her license yet. Why are we here? Why are we here? Why are we here at the car dealership to buy her a car for what? So she can't use the damn car. She has no license to vroom that motherfucker. I'm confused. More on that in a minute though, because I had a question and I'm like, why does she not have a license yet? We're about to find that out. She needs her green card. She doesn't have one yet. And I'm like, wait, she's been here a minute. Like, she's been here for a minute. How does she not yet have her green card? More on that in a second. So, they have been waiting 3.5 years for her green card. Sir, it takes a while. It doesn't take that long. What is happening here that you have been waiting for 3.5 years for a green card that she should have had 3 years ago? What is happening? Okay, maybe 2.5 years ago. What is happening here? You don't understand how she doesn't have her green card and how that doesn't bring alarm bells to you. So then they had to a lawyer to figure out how we can deal and fix the situation with the green card. Okay. So he discusses how he did what he had to do. So as we know, once you get married, you have to submit change of status documentation. And he says that he submitted her paperwork through an online portal. What? And as soon as I heard him say that, I'm like, oh my God. He got tricked. He got duped. He got the whole thing. And he says when he inquired as to the status of her green card, they asked for more money. This isn't, you never do this. I didn't even know this was a thing. You never do this. The lawyer says, well, all I can see is the K-1 visa being approved. There's been nothing, like no activity since. Because you got duped. Um, but they said they can get this done quick. You know, he's gonna have to give more money because all the money he gave into that is gone. But that's what you gotta do in order to make sure she gets her green card. And she's like, she's understanding, but she's like, this is stupid. Like, how did this happen? I would have never allowed my man to do that. Are you kidding? No, no, no. No, 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 no. Why would he do that? What possessed him to do that? It was so weird, especially because you did the visa process clearly through the government and it was approved. So then why wouldn't you have done the rest that way instead of doing it through this online portal? So weird. Anyways, that is it for this episode. That is it for me. So yeah, I think you would have gotten both of these on Tuesday. So the next will come on Wednesday. But until then, guys, that is it for this episode. So if you like what you heard, please rate, review the podcast on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Also, don't forget that you can also share us with everyone in your life if you really love this. And I do want to read those reviews. I'm definitely getting 5-star ratings, but I want to read those reviews. So send me those reviews and I will read those 4 and 5-star reviews on the podcast. Also, we're on every one of your favorite podcast apps. Every one of them, including you can find us on YouTube at Reality Tea Times 2. If you want to connect with us, you can do so by going to either Facebook or Instagram at Reality Tea Times 2. You can also find us on Twitter, TikTok, Reddit at Reality Tea Times 2 Pod. We also have our email, which is at realityteatimes2@hotmail.com. Definitely want to hear from you guys. And we also have our new website where you can listen to all of these episodes. You can review the podcast on there as well. You can connect with me in any way, all the stuff. It's all there, and you can find me there at www.realityteatimes2, all spelled out, dot podpage.io. It's there. And don't forget, I also have my other podcast with my friend Mikkel, Next Week Podcast, where we talk about all kinds of different topics. But you can find us on any of your favorite podcast apps over there as well. Or you can also go to YouTube, and you go to Next Take Podcast, as well as our website, which is solo.to/Next Take Podcast. So yeah, there's that, and that's basically that. And again, don't forget, if all of this information is overwhelming, we do have all of the links, everything in our show notes. But that is it for now, guys. Thanks. Bye.